guys, it's Roxanne Hayes, your broker owner of RHM Loans. And in today's episode, I am going to give you a list of what documentation should be required by your loan officer when you're applying for a mortgage. When you actually get your offer accepted by the seller, this is when the real fun begins. Collectively, your realtor, your loan officer, your escrow officer, and yourself will have 30 days to do your due diligence on a property that you're purchasing. You're going to want to lock in the best rate for your mortgage. You're going to want to dot your I's and cross your T's in all the paperwork. And in this video, I'm going to be very specific about what documentation is required. Disclaimer: every loan is different, and additional documentation may be required based on the situation or documentation that you actually provide. So grab your pen and paper and let's get started. All mortgage applicants will need to provide a picture of their government-issued ID. You'll also need 2 months' most recent bank statement for your earnest money deposit. All mortgage applicants will need to provide a picture of their government-issued ID. You'll also need 2 most recent bank statements in order to document your earnest money deposit and/or funds due at closing. Now, if you're going to be receiving a gift for this portion, you'll need the bank statement from your donor. So now for the income. If you're a W-2 earner that works full-time, you will need your most recent pay stub covering 30 consecutive days worth of pay. So if you get paid monthly, you'll only need 1 pay stub. So if you get paid bi-weekly, you'll need 2 pay stubs. And if you get paid weekly, you'll need 4 pay stubs. Most lenders will want to see your 2-year W-2, but depending on what type of loan, 1 or no W-2s may be an option. So if you've worked multiple jobs within the past year, you will need your W-2 for every employer. And on a side note, we will need the start and end dates and contact information for each employer that you've worked in the past 2 years. This is very important, especially when applying for an FHA loan. Now, if you're a W-2 employee and you're using overtime income, RSU income, bonuses, claim tips, or any other income, you will need a 2-year history in order to use this income. And in order to document that, we ask for the last pay stub of each year. So today, when making this video, it is 2023, so I would need the last pay stub for 2022 and 2021 in order to do a 2-year average. Unfortunately, W-2s have all the income lumped together, whether it is taxable or non-taxable, where a pay stub will break down which income is your regular pay, overtime, bonus, RSU, all that good stuff. If you've just started your employment and have not received a pay stub, or you have not actually started but you have been hired, we will accept an offer letter for your process. Most likely on these scenarios, we will need contact information for your employer, whether it's HR or a manager that can complete the form to verify your income and employment. If you are someone using retirement or disability income, you will need your most recent awards letter or 2-year 1099, along with the bank statement showing the direct deposit. Pro tip: if you want to show more income, provide the awards letter. This will show your gross amount received, and most of the time, the amount that gets deposited into your account is less than the total amount that we can use for the application. So for retirement income, we are able to gross up the non-taxable income. So we would need the most recent copy of your federal tax return in order to verify how much we can gross up. Disability income is automatically non-taxable. So if you are a self-employed or sole proprietor, you should be filing what's called a Schedule C on your federal tax returns. So we're going to need the 2 most recent federal tax returns and all schedules. We do not need your state return. The underwriter also wants to see a profit and loss statement of the current year along with bank statements to support your P&L. And if you're an independent contractor, we will want to see those 1099s along with your tax return. Now, if you are a business owner and you file a 1065, 1120, or 1120S, you will need a copy of your K1s. The K1 does indicate your percentage of ownership into the business. We are able to use income if you are 25% owner or higher. If you are less than 25%, we just need a copy of the K1 to show that you're less than 25% owner. Now, if you are 25% or more owner of your K1, we're going to need a copy of the full business return. And if you're a self-employed person and you really don't even know what you filed, take a look at your federal tax return and look for what's called a Schedule C. Here, it will indicate if you have K1s issued to you. Now, if you are applying for a bank statement loan, this is normally when you are a business owner and you are writing off a lot on your income, so your net income is not as high as it should be. You will need 12 to 24 months of bank statements. These could be personal or business. Now, depending on how many bank statements you're using, if they're personal, if they're business, will be dependent on the type of loan that you're applying for. So you are going to want to indicate this information to your loan officer. So if you currently own a home, we will need to see the mortgage statement for all the homes that are mortgaged. We want to see a copy of your property insurance bill, your property tax bill, and your homeowners association statement, if applicable. We will need this for all properties. So if you're using rental income to qualify and you've owned the home for more than 1 year and you have filed rental income history on your tax return, we will need the federal tax return with the rent schedule. We normally want to see 2 years. Now, if you've just started leasing this property or you intend to lease this property, there's a couple different ways that we can use your future income. One is if you get a 1-year lease agreement, we can use 75% of the amount on the lease agreement. Or 2, we would send an appraiser to do a rent survey in order to calculate what that amount would be. And then we would be able to use 75% of that income in order to offset your mortgage. So I think that's about it, guys. I got pretty into it, especially on the income documentation. Now, of course, other documents may be needed. You're going to need to do things like your initial disclosures. You're going to need to do things like sign your initial disclosures. There may be other things that certain lenders or banks do require for your mortgage, but this is basically the gist of what you'll need, especially for income and assets, and of course, verifying your identity. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you like and subscribe, as this is what gets the channel out there. Please make sure you put in your comments if this video helped you, and also let me know what types of videos you would look forward to. Thanks, guys.